This week we are cooking the ultimate Spanish tapa, tortilla española or Spanish omelette. To do the omelette, we're gonna need onion, eggs, potatoes, frying oil, and salt. And then on the side, some nice bread, some nice tomatoes, olive oil, and we will also use the salt for that. My Spanish omelette is with onion, but Spanish society is divided between putting onion or not putting onion. In my opinion, there is no contest. You have to use onion for this. The proportion between eggs and potatoes, for every 100 grams of peeled potatoes, 1 egg. So if you have 600 grams of peeled potatoes, about 6 eggs. I think here I'm gonna have about 650, so I'm gonna round up to 7 eggs. Before we start preparing the potatoes, cutting them and preparing the eggs, I'm gonna put the frying oil in the pan because it's gonna take a while to heat up. We are gonna need a good amount, depending on the amount of potatoes you are frying. In this case, will be about 650 grams of potatoes. So probably we're gonna use the whole liter to fry up. Then we turn it on. You don't want the fire very strong, so you want it to fry slowly. Otherwise they will get done outside, but inside they won't still be done. In the meantime, what we are gonna do is peel the potatoes and cut them in slices. When the potatoes are peeled, what you do is you cut them by half lengthways, and then you cut slices about 3 millimeters or so, like this, something like this. Now we're gonna cut the onion, and you want to cut it in small pieces, like this. And we mix it with the potatoes. To check if the oil is ready, you grab 1 potato. Still not ready. It should bubble up. In the meantime, we're gonna crack the eggs and whisk them. So the eggs, before we whisk them, we just put a bit of salt. You put it. If it bubbles up, like it is, it's ready. So we're gonna put now everything in there. Careful with the splashes. Make sure everything is covered. Okay, so the potatoes are almost done. We're gonna put a bit of salt on them. We check how they are doing. Yeah, they are almost there. So just a tiny bit more that they get a bit more golden, and they will be ready to take out. Okay, so the potatoes are ready. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna transfer them to a bowl and let them cool down a bit before we mix them with the egg. Because if we were to mix them with the egg straight away, the egg would cook because they are quite hot at the moment. This oil is reusable, so you can use it for frying other things. So you put them in a bowl and you wait until it cools down. You can try one for salt, and just add a bit of salt if you feel it needs a bit more. So this is the pan we're gonna use to do the omelette. An important thing is that it needs to be of a size that will allow you to flip it with a plate. So we've got this plate, which we will use to flip it midway. So to make sure that it doesn't stick, we're gonna preheat the pan. Make sure it gets hot before we put a bit of oil. Okay, so the potatoes are not that hot anymore. So now we can mix the egg. And we mix it all together. So the pan is hot. We're gonna put a bit of oil. Okay, so when the pan is hot, and here is where the art comes, make sure from one side to another, you spread it, and quickly make sure that you give it that flat shape, and then it will start cooking. So you want to keep moving it from the sides so it doesn't stick, and check as much as you can from the side how it's underneath. And when you start seeing that it gets golden, then it's time to flip it. So this is where the artistic part comes. You may want to do it on the sink in case there is a drama. Okay, a bit of it has stuck, but that's okay. And then we cook the other part. Okay, so the omelette is done. So we're gonna take it off the pan. Look at that. Look at that. And now an important is you don't want to eat this warm. It's much better. Cold is amazing. So even if you leave it for next day in the fridge is incredible, but you definitely don't want to eat it straight away. You put it on the window bay and you let it cool down for a good 20-30 minutes. Okay, so the omelette has been cooling down for a bit and the bread is nice and toasted. So first let's prepare the bread, pan Tomàquet. It goes very well with Spanish omelette. You spread a very nice juicy tomato on the bread, a bit of olive oil, a bit of salt. And the omelette, if you want to prepare it as a tapa, you could cut it in little squares and then put it on a plate as a tapa, but because it's just for us, so we are gonna cut it in quarters. And this you don't have to finish it in one day, so this you put it in the fridge for next day and it will be even better. So let's try it out. It's incredible. Bon appetit.